Well, shockingly enough, I'm going to talk about social media because, it's kind of what I do. For those of you who don't know me, I'm really technical with these things and don't know how to use slides. Hey! My name's Katherine Salt. I do social media consulting under the brand name Digital Salt. I got into social media 7 years ago for my own business, which is Plum's Lingerie down at Columbury. Before that, I have been working in marketing since year dot. And interestingly, traditional marketing departments have been pretty slow to pick up on the old social media lark, whereas small businesses like mine, with no marketing budget, forced to be a little bit more creative. So I work with a lot of people who have had a crack at social media and they're not overly impressed with the results. They try a few things, doesn't really work, it takes so much time, got to invest, blah, blah, blah. But there's a few key things that they usually have in common. And one is they don't actually have an objective of what they're trying to achieve. We should be doing social media, is what I hear. Whereas what they should be thinking about is we need to build our email list. We need to generate leads for our business. We have products we are looking to sell. We want to increase visit to our website, and we want to improve awareness. All of these are perfectly acceptable objectives for a social media activity. And they should come first before you sit there, get overly excited, and set up your Facebook page, your Twitter account, so on and so forth. Next stage is they don't have a plan. And this is really simple. It doesn't necessarily have to be a big sort of huge document that you sweat hours and hours on. It can be as simple as, what are you going to do to get to your objective? When are you going to do it? Are you going to post daily, weekly, monthly? And then how are you going to track that it's actually working? 3 simple things. You just need to pop it on a piece of paper, write it down, and it's just going to help you have more direction on what you're doing. Knowing your audience. Again, people put content out on their social media platform without a thought about who they're trying to talk to. And this is a really good example of a very successful Facebook page that has had enormous organic growth, which at the moment on Facebook is extremely challenging. It's called On the Tools. It is a Facebook page for builders. And what they do is they share funny things about what it's like to work on a building site. They have a huge amount of engagement. They actually now work with building companies to produce content for their social media platforms. And when you are looking at who your audience is, what I recommend is building a profile of who your target client would be. Give them a backstory, think about who they are, try and put a face to this profile, and then produce content specifically targeted at them. So I've got an example here. This is one I have for the lingerie business. This is Margaret. She's 57 years old. She's a teacher. She lives in Chobham in Surrey. Married 34 years. Her husband's retired but used to work in the city. 2 children, blah, blah, blah. She's active in the local community, runs a night class teaching. Member of the local Rotary Club, plays golf, gardens. When she does go on holiday, she goes to exotic places like Cambodia and Peru. And by keeping her in mind when I'm producing content, it's much more likely to resonate. It's very easy to make assumptions about your customers. It's worth doing a bit of research, understanding who they are. And that's as easy as actually just phoning a couple up and talking to them if you're like I have an e-commerce business, we don't necessarily have those conversations. I'm very lucky that we have quite a mature demographic, and they like to call, and they like to chat when they do call. I can have a customer on the phone for 20 minutes buying one bra because they just like to have a little chat and tell us about their dogs and things. Once you know who your customer is, it'll give you a much better idea of where you can find them. You need to know where to reach them. Not everybody is on every platform. Consistently, email marketing is my most successful channel by open rate, e-commerce sales, and for the social media. If I send an email out, I get I get responses from it. A lot of people will tell you that email is dead and it's dying and so on and so forth. But in my personal experience and in a lot of people in my industry, it's still the go-to. And the benefit of email marketing over social media channels is you own that relationship. You can build up an amazing Facebook page with hundreds of thousands of fans, but one day it could disappear like that. When you will have no control over it at all. Facebook has glitches. The Social Media Examiner, which is the largest social media website in the world, or blog, their Facebook page disappeared one day for no reason. It took them 3 days to get that Facebook page back. And the only way they managed to get it back is because they know an awful lot of people at Facebook. The response, the answer to why it happened, they're like, oh, we don't know, it just disappeared. Another way of bringing that relationship onto your property, as it were, is blogging. It gives you content for your email marketing for a start. And it's a great way of bringing people to your website and then getting them to sign up for your email list. Facebook, it's huge, there's no doubt. It's the most widely used platform, and you'll find the majority of demographics well represented on there. The largest growing demographic at the moment is the over 45s. Twitter, again, that's actually now becoming, again, more popular with the younger market. We're seeing more millennials moving back to it. I do not know why. LinkedIn, purely professional. You'll find a lot of people on LinkedIn who aren't on any other social media platform. They feel comfortable with the fact it's not personal. And you're finding a lot of corporate businesses now are encouraging their members of staff to use LinkedIn. Instagram, image-based, fast-moving, very popular with if you have fashion, wellness, beauty, so on and so forth. Pinterest is fantastic if you have a website and you're selling products. It drives the most traffic to my lingerie site out of any other platform by leaps and bounds, a huge amount. And Snapchat is the new kid at the party and gaining traction with the younger market. But there are certain key things to remember with whatever channel you choose, because the rules are kind of the same, whether you're on Facebook or Snapchat, is be consistent. This is especially important because there's no point posting something amazing one day and then disappearing. I don't know if you know anything about the Facebook algorithm. Typically, when you post on your Facebook page, your content will be seen by as few as 4% of your fan base, unless you promote. This algorithm will actually penalise you if you don't post regularly. You want to produce content that appeals to your target audience. It sounds really obvious, but so many businesses sit there and talk about themselves the whole time. This is what I've got to promote. This is what I've got to sell. Let's just talk about our business a bit more. Frankly, it's boring. You don't necessarily just have to talk about you and what you do. If you were an estate agent, for example, you could tweet or Facebook about how to renovate, how to put up a conservatory, how to dress your home for a showing, all the things around your topic rather than specifically of your topic. And it's content that resonates is content that people will be entertained by, informed by, or educated by. Mix up your medium. We're seeing a huge push up on video, especially on Facebook. Video is outperforming every other type of content that you post. Live video is outstripping that consistently as well. If you are on Facebook, it is worth being brave and clicking that live button. If I do a live video opposed to an uploaded one, I get 5 times as many views. Be interesting. Again, it sounds really obvious, but there's a hell of a lot of boring stuff on social media. I think there's an account on Twitter that is boring Twitter updates. Interesting is what people resonate in. It's worth keeping an eye on what your results you get in your analytics. See what's working, what's not working, stop doing. If it is working, do more of it. Invest in advertising. Now, when I was talking about being consistent and Facebook's algorithm, it's very hard to get organic reach. You have to put some budget in. It doesn't have to be a lot of budget. I have pages where I invest the maximum of £10 a week, and it gives me enough boost to actually get a decent amount of traction with people. And realistically, if you're promoting something, promote the stuff that's working. If you see a post or a content that's not doing well, don't invest in it, because you're just showing it to more people who won't like it. And then track your activities. The analytics you get on Facebook and Twitter, LinkedIn's are a bit sketchy, and Pinterest are quite good. You don't necessarily need to use a third party. If you are doing things like writing blogs, emails, and so I would recommend looking at UTM codes. Do you know what UTM codes are? Every URL, you can add a UTM code to the end of it. The UTM code will show you the source of it, the medium, and the campaign that it's attached to. And that will be linked into your analytics. What you don't do, it's awful. I had to make this shorter because I thought it was a bit mean. Don't overly promote your products and services, because it's boring. Really, people don't actually care that much. Look at sort of an 80-20 rule on this. Don't expect the same content to work on every platform. I have one client, the demographics of the audience on Twitter is considerably different to the demographics they have on their Facebook account. So we've produced different content for it. And we've noticed a serious uptick in the Twitter engagement since we have. Avoid using corporate speak and jargon, especially if you're in a technical market. I'm not saying talk down to people, but just use clear language. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. We're back to the building your property on rented land. That's what we call the social media platforms. You do not own that relationship. Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat own that relationship. At every available opportunity, you want to be encouraging people to sign up to your email list, visit your blog so they can sign up to your email list. Key way to get people to sign up to something is give something of value away. Something like an ebook, infographic, and I'm talking real value, not just some tat you rushed off in an afternoon. And don't over-automate. Please, 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 if you're on Twitter, do not set up autoresponders. We all know what they're autoresponders, and especially don't set up autoresponders that tell us to go and do something for you. Hi, thanks for following me. Now please go to my blog, or please sign up my email list. It just doesn't do well. A certain level of automation is a good idea, because you can't do it all yourself. I do a lot of batch working. I highly recommend tools. I use Meet Edgar, Hootsuite, Buffer, all to schedule content. There is a bit of debate on whether using third-party tools on Facebook will have a negative impact on the reach of your content, but I've used things like Buffer and I've not seen that actually happen. So I've got a few ideas and things that actually do quite work well. Now, I've just finished a competition on the lingerie page. Really simple to set up, used a free trial, got a lot of free trial. This one uses an app called 22 Social. We ran a competition for 2 weeks, which first learning is 2 weeks is too long, a week is plenty, to give away our best-selling product. We targeted this product this competition specifically at people who like the prima donna Facebook page, their brand page. It's a very small number. It was only like 7,000 people. But I know every single one of those knows that bra because it is their bestseller and it's been around for like 20 odd years. So we had over 300 people enter the competition. I only spent, I think, £70 on the advertising. They've been offered a free postage code for everybody who entered, and then next week we'll be offering them a small discount to encourage them to actually buy from us. So it's going to be interesting to see what the final results of that investment are. But I've added over £300 to my email list of people who I know buy my product. So we're going to be experimenting with lots of different competitions. How-to videos. I don't know what it is about these. They come up on Facebook and I can't stop myself from watching them. I have no desire ever to make homemade Scotch eggs. I don't even really like Scotch eggs. I watched this video 3 times because every time we came up from the loop, it was already moving. The great thing about video on Facebook is it auto-plays. If you are doing videos on Facebook, make them interesting in the first few seconds. You have 6 seconds to catch someone's attention before they scroll on by. Don't make them too long. 30 seconds is plenty. If you've got something really fascinating to say, you can go on for a whole minute, maybe a minute and a half. But the how-to are brilliant. Customer service. KLM use Twitter fantastically for customer service. I've experimented with them. I told them I was going to Amsterdam, asked them, for some recommendations of a restaurant. Within the time, they said, and this is what I like, they tell you how long it's going to take you to get back to you. It really helps manage expectations. People tend to use social media as a faster way of getting what they want. If I know that I've only got 10 minutes to deal with this, I'm just going to pick up the phone. So yes, I sent them a request, some advice about what to do in Amsterdam or restaurants to have. I got a list back from them within that time. It's very helpful. It's not sold anything of their product this time, but next time I want to go to Holland. I've also had personal experience of their actual customer service when I was not very well on one of their flights once, and they put me in their little hospital in Schiphol. It was so cute. Not feeling ill was great, but they're a brilliant airline. So that's all I have for today. If you want to get in touch with me, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and my website. So I figured you could just ask me some questions now, if you wanted to.
Can I ask what do you use for your email marketing?
MailChimp. It's got a monkey. How could you not? I've used Aweber as well, but I don't really like it. I don't like the interface. Yes?
You know the live video you're talking about on Facebook? I mean, how does that work?
You go into... All it is you go into your Facebook page, or you can do it from your personal profile, click on post, and there's a little icon. It's a little head in a sort of red semicircles. Click on it. You pop in some details about what you're talking about, and press live. And then you talk. Don't forget to do the talking bit.
Yeah, but I've seen videos that said live from yesterday. And I was like, okay. So
Yeah.
It's just a recording then.
They broadcast it live,
And then later.
and then it just stays there.
Okay.
So here's in your sort of friends list of things the next day.
Yeah. So if you can do it, you can, like I said, you can do it from your personal profile, and it will still stay. It won't disappear when you're not live.
Right.
So I did one last week because I was doing a webinar, and the Digital Salt page is quite new on Facebook, so I've only got about 180 odd fans. It was like 30-second video. It reached, I think, nearly 700 people, and there was no promotion behind that. There was no budget.
That's very true what you said, because I have like over 600-700 people on my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It's just one chap who does a market commentary once a week on LinkedIn. And it's not really professional, but I watch it. It's crazy. I don't have the balls to do it myself, to my connections.
Why not? Just Just, you can't really get, the worst thing you can do is do something you think, it's not great, and delete it.
Yeah, but since then, you know, it's an awkward one.
I think we care much more about us than anybody else does. And I think that's a big barrier for a lot of people. I know it's something I've always felt very uncomfortable. I've always felt very uncomfortable doing talks, video and everything, but if you're the one that makes that step ahead of everybody else, you will win. And they may start out being a bit crappy, but the more you do it, the better they'll be. And then you'll be leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else in your industry. Anything else? No, marvellous.
No, because it was so good, thank you.
Oh, bless you.